All right, well, welcome everyone. My name is Scott Dietz. I'm the manager of workforce development initiatives at Catalyst Connection. And we are here today to talk a little bit about our What's So Cool About Manufacturing student video contest. So again, I thank all of those educators that are here with us live for this chat today. And we just want to say hello to all of you. And again, thank you for taking time out of your day to chime in and take a look or take a listen and a look at some of the stuff that we're providing for students in the region and to build continue to build and strengthen talent for our manufacturing sector. So just a quick high level for those that aren't as familiar with us of who Catalyst Connection is, and then we're going to talk a little bit about specifics as far as the history of the program and how it works and what are some of the basic timeline of the program. And then I want to, of course, make sure we leave plenty of time for our two guests that we have with us from two of our participating schools to be able to share their insights and perspectives on the program and how the program has been beneficial and impactful for them and their students. So that's our basic agenda for today of what we're going to cover. And again, feel free to throw any questions in the chat. Or if you're watching this recorded, feel free to contact us directly, and we'd be happy to provide more specific details on the program and see how your school could be a participating partner in this initiative. So Catalyst Connection is a 501c3 nonprofit. We are based in Hazelwood, right here behind me, and Mill 19, digitally anyway, behind me. And we support manufacturing companies across 12 counties of southwestern Pennsylvania. So we basically do consulting and training for our manufacturers and provide kind of a one-stop resource center for all things manufacturing to address any of the challenges or specific needs that they have to be successful contributors to our local economy. One of the number one things, as I'm sure many of you hear from every industry sector, that is the biggest challenge for our manufacturers right now is finding talent. And they're very interested in engaging with middle and high schools to help to create awareness about manufacturing careers as a viable option, but also how can they engage students that could be future workers for them. So we have a variety of initiatives here at Catalyst Connection to specifically address that challenge and need of our manufacturers to work with them and to provide those companies opportunities to engage and while not having to create a new experience from scratch or create a program from scratch. We basically provide a variety of ready-made programs that they can just jump right into and start to engage with the schools. So, and for those again that are here live, and of course, even if they're recorded, we'll throw these in the description. But Hannah's throwing up some links to some of our websites where you can find out more about our wide array of programs at the middle and high school, including a real world design challenge and a pre-apprenticeship program, and a variety of career exploration activities we do throughout the year. So transitioning into this program specifically, this is a program we're very excited about having brought to our region 8 years ago now. This was a program that was developed in the Lehigh Valley on the other side of the state out towards Allentown and Bethlehem by one of our sister organizations, a nonprofit like us that works with manufacturers in that region. And really, when I saw the program, I said, this is exactly what we need to help to change perceptions and create an awareness of manufacturing careers in our region, called the What's So Cool About Manufacturing student video contest. Probably worth mentioning, too, that as a result of these first two regions getting the program up and running, pretty much every other region of the state has now become a participant in this program. And we basically, I think the number is something like over half of the middle schools in the entire state of Pennsylvania have now participated in this program. So it's definitely grown significantly, but I think that just also demonstrates the impact and the desire and the leveraging of a program like this, in the way in which it's created and for the purpose that it's created for, which transitions me nicely into the next bullet point of what exactly is this program all about? Why do we do it? What's the general reason behind why the program exists? I kind of alluded to it a little bit as far as changing perceptions and creating awareness about manufacturing in our region broadly. And, for years, we basically spent time creating video content, creating resources, creating websites, all of which we still have. But from a perspective of an adult trying to tell young folks what we thought was cool about manufacturing, or trying to come up with a messaging that would resonate with young people. And I think basically what this program does is it changes that model by incentivizing and empowering the students to become the digital storytellers and to be the ones to create this marketing, to create this content to share with their friends and their peers. So you could look at this as kind of a peer-to-peer marketing or a peer-to-peer communication strategy, where we're, again, providing students access, giving them a focus on a topic area, but then also encouraging them to be the digital storytellers to tell from their perspective what they think is cool about manufacturing after having get exposed to it and exploring it a bit. So that's the basic gist of the program is engaging with this program is for 7th and 8th graders. And it's basically a team of students or could be integrated into a class. In most cases, a lot of our schools are doing independent study or some sort of ad hoc group of students, or it might be an after school club. There's a lot of different ways schools are leveraging this, but it's 7 students on a team. That can be as many as 10. And the students are basically paired up with a manufacturing company locally. We leverage our connections to make that happen. Although schools are certainly welcome to give us names of folks that they know that are in their district or that they have relationships with already. But we leverage those connections to bridge and to kind of match the two together, the schools and the companies, based on geography, but also based on interest. Companies that we want to highlight as examples of our modern advanced manufacturing. And, once we pair the two together, the schools and the companies, we actually kick the program off in the fall, typically in National Development Day, where we bring all the teachers from our regional contests together and provide them with some professional development on kind of the ins and the outs of the program. So we provide information on how the program runs, some of the do's and don'ts, and some tips on how to make the program effective. We typically have some guest speakers that are talking about things like how to effectively tell a story digitally, how to create video content that's compelling, some things like video basics. Some of our teachers will know about, white balancing and rule of thirds and some things that are fundamentals to video creation. And also like storytelling and how to ask good questions and how to, kind of come up with the creative concept for the videos, as well as just some general information about manufacturing that can be helpful for the teachers as they're leading the students through this project and through this work. We then have the students visit the company twice. That typically happens before Christmas. So the schools will go out for an initial tour of the company. And then just to find out what the company does, see what the visuals might be, learn about the backstory, hear about careers, consider who they might want to interview when they go back for their second visit, et cetera. They'll go back to their school and they'll put together a strategy and a plan of what's the storyline going to be, what kind of creative elements, how are they going to make it fun and interesting, what questions are going to ask when they go back, who do they want to interview, and how are they going to put the story together and the video together. So they'll go back for a second visit then to the company, and basically that's the day of capturing all of the content. So interviewing individuals, capturing what we call B-roll, so all the additional footage that's used to kind of sprinkle in throughout the video to keep it entertaining and interesting and showing what the company does. And of course, they can also create content that is creative and out of the box and really tells in a unique way the story of what that company does and what's so cool about what they experienced and saw. We basically, I should mention that we do typically have grant funding available to support the launch of new schools and our existing schools. That includes things like every one of our new schools gets a basic video kit at no cost. Our grant funding covers it. So we want to make sure all the schools are on the same basic level playing field and have at least a starter kit of equipment to be able to make it happen. We also provide that teacher training and lunch. I usually feed my teachers well. That's at no cost. but we also can cover the cost of substitute teachers as well as transportation costs for those 2 visits to the company as well. Again, I always say that's dependent upon grant funding at that given time, but so far, not going 8 years, we've been able to provide that funding support to the schools to make that happen. The students will then have to submit a draft of their video and a final edition that will get reviewed by us as well as by the company approval before it goes live to the world. And then we have a week of online voting for those videos, which is kind of the public demonstration of the work of the students, if you will, where they get a chance to share to their peers and to their friends and to all their fellow students and the parents and teachers and the manufacturers that were in the video and their friends and their clients, et cetera. This is what we created. Take a look at it, but also vote for your favorite. And we have an award specifically that rewards the students that get the most votes for their videos during that 1 week of online voting. So that's a key component of the program because that's part of the incentive. The students also get to bring in some things like marketing and social media and promotional kind of skills that they can incorporate into the program too. And of course, demonstrating a lot of 21st century skills and as well as a lot of alignment to the career readiness standards. I think you can probably initially, see pretty easily connections to those things based on what I've shared already. We then culminate the program with an awards ceremony. So we typically have done that in the evening. This year, we're actually doing it during the school day in response to our teachers and their request. So we are bringing all the student teams together and the teachers and administrators and the manufacturers and parents if they want to come and celebrating the work of the students, giving out awards, but then also having an opportunity to talk to the students again further about manufacturing careers, opportunities and pathways. And this year specifically, we'll probably have some resource partners that will provide some hands-on activities for the students to participate in while they're at this event. So that's basically the overall timeline of the program. We just had a question come in the chat. So thank you for putting that out there and keep throwing the questions at us. So the question was, for those that can't see the chat on this recording, is each school district limited to only 1 team of 7 to 10 students? No, actually, schools are allowed to have, we've never really put a cap on how many teams a school could have. It really comes down to capacity of that school to be able to manage more than 1 team and to potentially go to more than 1 company. Traditionally, if a school has wanted to have more than 1 team, we have partnered them with different companies. So we try to keep the number of that 7 to 10 students for 1 specific company. And largely that's because most of our manufacturing companies are small to medium-sized companies. And if there's too many students, they get a bit overwhelmed or don't have the internal resources to be able to dedicate towards making sure those students have a safe and engaging experience while they're there on site. So, but we have actually one of our guests here today from Butler. They've had multiple teams in the past. And I know the Burrell School District and Township Moon Area School District have also had multiple teams in the past as well. Again, just for a little bit of background, we have we've had as many as 45 middle schools in our region that have participated in this program pre-COVID. As we all know, a lot of our teachers have either went on to different districts or have retired or have taken on new responsibilities within their districts. So we are trying to build back to that point, which is part of our reason for having this workshop today. Is we'd really like to just provide opportunities for new schools to get engaged in the program. And of course, we have a very large number of schools in our region that also we haven't talked to them all about the program yet. So we want to continue to make sure that everyone's aware that this is an opportunity. Another question that's come in is how have most districts structured the teams in the past as a student club or integrated into our course? So that is a great segue question, Sarah, because I'm going to actually introduce our 2 guests here today that we have that are teachers participating in our program. And I'm going to throw that out to them as the first question that they're going to get today too. So why don't we start off with Erin. I'm just going alphabetical here. So Erin, if you can just a quick introduction of what school, what you teach, and how many years you've been involved in the program.
Sure. So my name is Erin Snyder. I am a math teacher at Butler. Butler itself has been in the program, I want to say 6 years. I myself, this is my 4th year in the program. So our district, as Scott said, we have consistently had 2 teams each year. What we find is that there are just so many local businesses, local manufacturing places that we can get in contact with and work with, and we have a lot of students that are interested in it. So it's been really nice to have 2 teams each year because they come at the project so completely differently from one another. Ours is currently structured as part of a class. We have an enrichment studies program at Butler. And so throughout the day, approximately 200 of our students are involved in this enriched studies program. And we do everything from coding and robots to arts and design and everything in between. And so one of those courses is video production. And so as of right now, the other teacher who is involved with it, Brett Cochran, he is the teacher of that course. And so he has other students at the same time. The students who are involved in the What's So Cool competition predominantly work on What's So Cool for 12 weeks straight. It's their project, it's what they do. And while they're doing that, he has an additional set of 15 to 20 students who are working on just other video production projects throughout our district.
Julie, same questions. Introduce yourself, what you teach, how long you've been involved, and then if you could also answer the question of how you structure it within your school.
Hi, I'm Julie. I'm a 7th grade teacher from Norwin Middle School, and we've been doing this for 7 years. So it's a great program. I really enjoy it. Our structure is very different from yours. It's not part of our curriculum. It's a club program that's after. Oh, they actually do the morning announcements. So we have streaming announcements every day. And it's a core group that just applies for it, but they did have to have some editing or interest in that. So each year there's a dynamic that kind of develops that's all been unique from year to year. And so ours then is after school, and we have about 7 kids in there. It's not a very big room. We do make use of the equipment that came from Catalyst Connections because that's actually what kept our morning announcements going. And so we were able to have cameras and mics. And so I joke with the kids that it's like under Sid's bed from Toy Story. We build it together, no matter how it looks at the end. The kids have had a lot of fun with it. I know the kids who've gone on from here, some of them have gone into video production. Some of them have been a valedictorian. We've had 2 valedictorians move through the program. So for being a small, tiny group, they've been, I don't know, it allows them creativity. I really try to give them as much freedom as possible and just try to keep them, it's a kid-inspired project.
So Julie, to stay with you for a second, you, if I remember correctly, and I'm saying this somewhat jokingly, had a very strong video production background, and you taught media classes and all that kind of stuff, right? Or are you? Did you come?
Did not. I don't know how I ended up in the program. Well, Scott might remember this. Is that the day of the training? So 1 year in, that day I left, or I was leaving school at 3 o'clock or 3:30. And they called me in and they said, so can you be there tomorrow morning down in Pittsburgh? And so I kind of got thrown into it. I had been there for the launch of video, but I used to do more with the gifted program. And it was originally set up, our idea of what a video production thing, again, was still club based. And it was just, yeah, we went from there. So we wouldn't be where we are with our program if it wasn't for Catalyst Connections.
So I think, I mentioned that and I set that up kind of facetiously, but I think, the idea or question we get often is, does a teacher have to be the video expert? And really they're just I call it the executive directors, where helping to facilitate the students going through the creative process and facilitate the permission slips and getting to the company and keeping the project on task and on time. is a bigger role for the teachers to play and let the students have the technical expertise. Erin, I'm just curious, because I want to make sure from a time perspective here that we hit on some of the big stuff. So, what have you seen has been the biggest impact for you and the biggest benefit that you and your students have received from participating in this program?
I could talk for so long on that topic, so I will try to keep it brief. I am a math teacher. I have zero experience. I was terrified to join this program because I didn't know what I was supposed to do and how to do it. So I will lead with, for anyone that is out there listening that is uncomfortable and a little bit feeling overwhelmed by it, it is the easiest project to take on. You get to work with kids who really enjoy and love what they're doing. But Catalyst Connection is just, I can echo what Julie says. It allows us to do so much more with the students and provide them with so many more opportunities. But it's still, any teacher can say, like, sometimes when you get a new thing, it's so much and you can't handle it. Well, it's not, because Catalyst Connection makes it so easy. And specifically Scott and Hannah, I've worked with both of them throughout this entire process. And they really just hold your hand through it, but they kind of act as the mentors too. Kids and teachers get the freedom to make it what they want. And so that's a big advantage as far as just whether you want to do it or not. For me as a teacher, I have learned so much about where I live. So I live in the community that I teach in. And I have been to companies that I never even knew existed. I've heard about jobs that I never knew existed. And at this age, when students are just starting to decide what they want to do with their future, it is really cool to not only be able to take this small group of kids to see that, but then to share all of that information with my own students and every student in our district. And so everybody in our community gets to see these videos, and all the way up through our superintendent is supportive of the program. And so, our own principals and, administration, they're encouraging everybody to watch these videos and learn about the businesses in our company or in our local area. So that's huge. But really for these students, they are just given complete autonomy and responsibility for the final product. We function as mentors and just kind of hold their hand along the way, but they take so much pride in their work. They learn how to work with each other on a small team. Sometimes personalities clash, and it's a really good experience. They not only get to learn about all the video productions, but they also get to learn about local manufacturing and all of the different jobs that go with it. So they've gotten to go to the capital of Pennsylvania. They get to go down to Pittsburgh. So there are the obvious benefits of what they're learning, but there are so many perks along the way that not every kid gets to do. So it's been a really unique experience, and every student we've had do it has really enjoyed it. And I can say that with confidence because both of my own children have been part of teams and they love it. So it's fantastic.
I think I knew that, but I don't know if I remembered that you said that before. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
And I think from the flip side of that too is, I know you've experienced this with some of the companies you've partnered with. A lot of our manufacturing companies are a nondescript cement block building in the back of an industrial park, but inside of that company, there's really cool stuff happening. Or, I'm thinking of JSP, for example, who, their perception in the community was that they made something that they made 30 years ago. And meanwhile, they don't even make that product anymore. But that's kind of what they've always been known for. I think it was car bumpers or something like that. And
yes. And I myself have been to specifically JSP for 3 years, and I have learned something new every year. So it's constantly changing. And I think a lot of the companies that we work with do a really good job of showing kids that progression in technology and how things are changing in manufacturing. So it's been very cool to see.
Julie, what has been your perspectives on benefits to you and to your students from this program?
I'm going to pull right off of what Erin said there. We've also worked with a couple of places a few times. So in Ravallo, I've seen a progression. They not only change locations, but the level to which the automation is there is phenomenal. And my kids had done projects, so they look back and they can even see that. And so I really appreciate that. Interestingly enough, a superintendent who retired after seeing our Cleveland Price thing, has gone on to work at Cleveland Price. And I said, what? So I know we were trying to find, youngsters and students going there. I didn't know we were going to have one of our superintendents. Anyway, so yeah, our benefit is seeing those buildings that do. And then the idea that it's all like dirty manufacturing, like 1950s Pittsburgh, and instead it's very clean lines, clean rooms, bright airy spaces, a lot of people working together to the end product. So the kids get to see that they could be in there in a front office thing, they could be doing the actual manufacturing, they could do engineering, they could be on computer based, other people are measuring safety. It's really phenomenal. So I know when people tell me that there aren't manufacturing jobs, I turn around and say there are so many manufacturing jobs, and that even predated COVID. That's been a need in our area.
So we've got like 2 minutes left. Julie, take 30 seconds. Anything else you want to share with teachers that are either on this call or watching this video about benefits or reasons they should consider participating?
Well, I think it maximizes the students working together in cooperative learning, but in an authentic way. You guys have provided these timelines, which are super helpful, not only for me, but for the students. They have clear rubrics. So all of best practices are employed in here. So we're doing things that match that. And I think we're all actually responsible for teaching those career standards. So if school districts are somehow missing out on that, we have a natural connection. So I can't be a bigger fan. They know I'm a big fan. I don't know if I've been as articulate as that, but I'm a big fan.
Erin, last thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, same things. It's worth it. It's every minute of it is worth it. And it doesn't feel like extra work. So I can't encourage people enough to at least just try it. Just try it and see the benefits, and they'll become believers too.
That's going to be our next t-shirt, Hannah. You'll become a believer too, or something like that, right? So, well, again, we only have a half hour with you today, so we're going to wind things up here. But again, I encourage you to check out the link in the chat or in the description for this video if you're watching the recording to learn more about the program. Definitely go and watch some of the videos the students have created. I think like us every year, we're wowed by the work that the students create and how out of the box and creative they are in storytelling, and how, I mean, we're in a YouTube generation and in a digital media video generation. So they're kind of digital natives in a lot of this stuff, and giving them an outlet to be able to show that creativity, I think, is awesome. But the students do incredible work. And I should also mention there is a statewide website. I will throw that link as well. And maybe Hannah's throwing it up on the screen right now in the editing of this. But if you go to what'ssocool.org, that's the statewide website for the video contest. And you can actually watch videos from across the entire state by region, or you can search the entire 10+ year history of videos that were created by the students. So it's a great resource to bring into your classroom. There's over 900 videos there made by middle schoolers that you can check out, and search them by type of company, by type of material they use, by industry sector they're in, by region, by award winners, et cetera, et cetera. So a great resource to bring video content and to show and have conversations about manufacturing and careers in your classroom through, again, the eyes of middle schoolers. So again, we thank you for all those that were able to join us today, and all of those that are we hope to be chatting with a lot of you soon as far as interest. Seeing some of that popping up in the chat, which is fantastic. And we'd love to have your schools involved in the program this coming year. So with that, thank you once again, and have an awesome day.